Hi friends, in this video I'm going to share with you a customer actual real walkthrough on how we are helping them take $250,000, leverage an existing banking instrument called documentary letter of credit and turn it into $11 million in 75 banking days. This is a walkthrough customer case study showing our actual providers and our own IP and how we're facilitating this whole thing, and it's something we've never ever disclosed to the public. This is something you got to be watching. I'm Timur Zaman from LineCredit.ai. My organization is a category leader in 3 categories. Number 1, providing lines of credit loans to organizations around the world. My passion is to help entrepreneurs get far more capital than banks or brokers can provide so that they can create meaningful change in what they're up to. If you're interested in that, please check out LineCredit.ai. Please check out our Rent a Rich Uncle program. You get all the details of that, access to the program, and get some funding that banks or brokers simply can't provide. The second area that we have a category leadership in is monetizing banking instruments. We are excellent at taking instruments and monetizing at a far higher LTV, or in many cases monetizing the instrument far faster than any of our competitors can provide. As well as the third category is private placement platforms. We help a lot of corporations and businesses understand private placement platforms, understand how to vet them out, and if they want to participate in that. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and press the subscribe button now. It gives you access to our intellectual property when we disclose that to the public, our customer walkthroughs, our case studies, strategies right away. Today I'm going to share with you how a customer is going to go through taking $250,000, leveraging a banking instrument, turning it to $11 million so they can use that $11 million into their business. Now let me tell you, I'm going to share with you the story from my perspective. If you showed me this particular video 11 years ago, my initial reaction would be, Timur, you're a professional scam artist, and everybody else you are working with is a professional scam artist. Like really 11 years ago, that would be my initial reaction on if you showed me this customer walkthrough. So in order to help set you up, I need to create some context. I find in my world, a lot of people I meet and talk to have no clue on something called fractional banking, have zero clue on something called the credit market, have absolutely zero clue in something called credit swaps. And I don't know what to say about that. Banking executives tell me that I'm teaching them about banking. A lot of lawyers tell me I'm teaching them about legal. I just don't know what else to say about that. So I want to create some context and some background context for your benefit. I then want to go into frequently asked questions because a lot of people have some questions that they may think about later on, and I want to answer them before I actually show you the customer walkthrough. And the third thing is I actually want to show you a real customer on a meeting with my providers, actually going through a whole system, vetting the whole thing out, and then deploying capital. So you actually want to see how it works and how customer journey is actually going through it. Now my intention is for you to actually copy, steal, and paste it for yourself truly. And for you to benefit from this, I really feel you want to take the time to understand credit markets and credit swaps. If you don't understand the credit markets and credit swaps, and all you know is something called retail banking, like banking 101, this conversation is going to be really weird for you, and you're simply not going to understand a lot of the concepts, terminologies, strategies like that, and you will get lost. So my invitation is that if this is something that triggers your interest, please go and study credit swaps or credit markets. You will learn how to use existing banking instruments to create credit for yourself to make investments on things that you like to make an investment on. So now let me start with creating up some context for you. First of all, I believe we live in a world that no matter what you care to do on this planet, you need access to capital, period. If you're moved and touched on how many millions of people around the world, doctors and nurses, have come together to save the world from the coronavirus, and if you want to do things like open free healthcare around the planet, guess what? You need access to capital so you can pay for these doctors and nurses and supplies, period. If you have grandchildren and you want them to start their life and start their career at a different starting point by going to some of the best universities in the world, but guess what? These things are expensive. You need access to capital. If you don't have grandchildren and you don't care about saving the world, and you have a day-to-day job and you just want income so that you can survive, guess what? You need to learn how to get access to capital so you can make investments in things like you care about, like that. So I really believe no matter what you want to do in the world, you need access to capital. In 1971, Richard Nixon, the President of the United States at the time, did one significant, massive change to the planet that I don't know if everybody is aware of it. He said you no longer can go to the bank and exchange your dollar, your US dollar, for gold. That was what happened in 1971. So what was the impact of that? What happened is that central banks can now push a button and print money. So if you're HSBC Bank, as an example, and you want $100 billion, you call central bank, you say, please, I want $100 million. Central bank doesn't have to go gather gold for $100 million. Guess what they do? They press a button, $100 million gets printed out of thin air. Truly, 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 that's true. Please go fact check this for yourself. Come to your own conclusions out of fact checking everything that I'm saying in any of my materials, videos, DVDs, whatever it is, so you can come to your own observations and conclusions. But I just want you to know that money, believe it or not, gets printed from thin air. And it's really important for you to understand that. So what does that mean? Today, if you look at places like United States government as an example, you'll notice the amount of deficit, the amount of debt the government has is far higher than the income the government is making. Fact is, the point is that we live in a world of credit. The world runs around credit. You want growth, you need to have credit. If you and I are in the same business, let's say we make coffee, manufacture coffee, export coffee, like that, and let's say you and I both use the same coffee beans, same field, same worker, same whatever, but I understand how to create credit and you don't. I can create credit. I can leverage that credit to go into investments that I think are profitable. I can make money from that, take that money and invest into my business, and I have to keep on creating credit over and over and over and over again. And guess what? I will leapfrog you in terms of growth, profit, and anything else I care about, assuming we make the same coffee from the same lands, from the same everything. So understanding credit swaps, or how credit is created and how to leverage it in instruments, is extremely important. This is what today's video is about. This is what today's case study is about. I'm taking a customer that has $250,000. I'm using an existing letter of credit from a bank, and I'm going to show you how it works to generate $11 million in 75 banking days. It's pretty simple. We've never disclosed this to the public. I'm hoping by disclosing it, people will copy it, steal it, leverage it, start it for themselves. Now I want to talk about some frequently asked questions I get. One question I get a lot from is, Timo, we watch a lot of your videos. How can we validate what you're saying to be true? My answer to that is, if you have a finance professor, please send my videos to a finance professor, have them watch it. If you have an attorney, don't go to a divorce attorney. Don't go to a traffic attorney. These people, will be really weird for them. You have to go to a securities attorney. So go to a securities attorney to validate the stuff for yourself, to get a third-party opinion. Next question, I guess, how can line of credit help us understand what are all the different banking instruments out there, which ones are right for us, like that. When you go to linecredit.ai, there's an option for you to hire us as a coach, consultant. You can book me, any of our associates, like that. Book us for 4 hours, book us for 1 hour, I don't care, and start asking us questions. What's the difference between a documented letter of credit versus standby letter of credit? which ones are better for me. What was a courtesy deposit, like that. And it would be helpful if you come to the call with having a clear end game, what you want to accomplish, and then we can help you identify some banking instruments or some strategies that may be relevant to you for you to leverage. So I highly recommend leveraging using our years of experience, expertise for your benefit. Another question I get is, do I accept projects on performance basis? I get this a lot from certain countries in Asia, where people call me at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., really inconsiderate at the fact that I live in Toronto. It's on our website. And they call me on WhatsApp or all these other things and trying to sell me something on commission basis. We don't do that. We spend years, we have a lot of experience, expertise in what we do. Every project, whether it's a broker who wants to work with us, I charge them a retainer fee or some kind of a training fee. Every customer who walks in, I charge them a retainer fee. Listen, I don't need to, I don't want to, but what I've discovered is I take away people who are inauthentic, don't have the spirit of collaboration, don't really want to work with us. This, I will, you will become a trillionaire out of helping me monetize this instrument on commission basis or some weird thing like that. We have this instrument, this IBOE. If you monetize it, it will give you a piece of the pie. I'm really grateful for these opportunities. Truly, I'm grateful for having these opportunities. And I'm not a no, I'm a hell no to all of that stuff. There's only 24 hours within a day. Our time is very scarce, very valuable, and if we simply can't afford to waste our time into things like that. Now, when I was a lot younger, I would definitely chase the rainbow for sure. That's how I got the scars like that. So even last year, we were giving a couple of hours of our time for free just to help educate the clients, and after that, it became a billable hour. This year, we don't do that. We've stopped doing that. Anybody who walks into the door, credit card, you have to be prepared to pay a retainer fee. That's how we qualify the customer, qualify the transaction. And every 6 months, no kidding, our fees goes up by tens and thousands of dollars like that, and we do that every 6 months. Next question I get is, how do I engage your firm if I'm a customer or if I'm a broker? We only do 3 things: monetize banking instruments, assist customers in private placement platforms, provide lines of credit. We give capital that banks or other brokers simply can't provide. Really, that's all we do. If you want us to purchase an instrument for you or help you go into a private placement platform, you have to come into the door with proof of funds and a CIS, period. It's not negotiable. If you want us to go get you a loan, you need to tell us if you want us to find you the bank, or you have found the bank. You have to go to Rent a Rich Uncle program, download all the applications, have the business plans. Really that simple. Once we have all the paperwork, we can look at it, we can qualify you to see if this is somebody we want to work with, this is an opportunity that we can make a meaningful contribution to. If yes, we'll provide your service contract. Once you sign it, we sign it, both parties have to execute, period. There's lots of testimonials, references, all that stuff on our website for you to go check to see the results that we truly are providing, producing, that others simply can't provide. If you're a broker, same thing. I just don't have the bandwidth to work with all the brokers on the planet. You have to come in with a qualified opportunity first. Once we can qualify the opportunity with the right paperwork and whatever else, we'll provide you a mutual NDA, NCA. We'll provide you a broker fee agreement. Once you sign off that stuff, we get engaged. We have to get engaged through the broker with the end user customer. Now, if you're a broker who has a friend who has a friend who has a friend, I thank you for the opportunity. Please contact somebody else. Our time is very limited on this planet. We just have to be able to make contributions where we got the end customer, they have something at stake, we can make an immediate difference. But now, I'm going to show you a customer case study. There's 3 things you need to know about it. I've edited a lot of parts that I thought were confidential. I've taken that out. I'm not interested in providing confidential information to the general public, period. I'm not negotiating that. Second part is, I've talked about $250,000. I've mentioned that we charge a retainer fee in this particular case. Our retainer fee in this particular case was $50,000 no questions asked. So the customer agreed to give us $50,000. However, the amount of money they're putting up is $200,000. So when I say how $250,000 gets you $11 million at this end of the tail, what you need to know is $50,000 is my retainer fee, my firm's retainer fee up front. We also get something in the back end. I promise you we get something in the back end for sure. And so $200,000 is what goes into the, I don't want to use the word system, but I don't have a better word for now. It's $200,000 that goes into the system of working capital to buy an existing banking instrument called document letter of credit. Now, I'm trying to make these videos as condensed as possible. If you don't know what a document letter of credit is, use something called Google, call your bank, call your investment advisor, call whoever and say, define what a document letter of credit is. Actually retain a securities letter. That's really good. Say what's the document letter of credit, pay them money to tell you what's the document letter of credit, and then ask them, how do I use a document letter of credit, when do I use the document letter of credit versus a stamp out of credit, versus a bank guarantee, versus a IBOE, like that. Like, ask these things and it will really help educate you. Have lots of fun. Please have your pen and paper ready because this is a 30-minute customer walkthrough, so you probably want to take a lot of notes to really understand this. Feel free to rewind the video as many times as you need to. Have lots of fun, and if this is something that's inspiring to you, I really encourage you to get started for yourself. Try to figure this out yourself, and if my organization can support you, can help you do this, can implement this, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Tamer Zaman, and I look forward to the option of working with you and your firm. Thank you. Okay, so Raj, is it okay if we start with how $200,000 turns into $11 million?
Yes, please.
So the story started for us a few weeks ago when a client called me and they wanted to purchase a lease $11 million SBLC. When I provided the DOA, deed of agreement, the client said, can I pay on installments? I said, I don't know how you pay installments on something like this. And the client said, well, I actually need $100 million for my business, but I only have $250,000. So that was a problem we stumbled upon. And I go to Rob on a regular basis to monetize document letters of credit. And I was just talking to him that evening on a whole different client. And I mentioned that, hey, I have a client who, hey, Rob, this is something really stupid happened to me. I've never had a client who's called and said, can I pay on installments? And it was more like a guy locker room joke kind of context. And Rob goes, but I have an idea. So the idea was, I will now keep quiet and get Rob and William to talk, because when he told me the idea, I thought it was a great idea. I had to get William's opinion the following day, with Rob not being part of the phone call. And then I had to get my lawyer to call William. My lawyer and William know each other because we do a bunch of other transactions. And I had to get my attorney to make sure this is triple legit. And then we had to test run it with a client. So that's, here we are. I'm going to shut up. Rob and William, your show.
Well, let me start. So Raj, I'm glad to hear you're also in the hottest thing ever, which is real estate. So I think this will explain it. So documentary letters of credit are typically used to purchase products and commodities. So for example, you're familiar that lumber is up 250% in the last year.
Yes, it is. You're
that's
absolutely
the number
right.
one material. So that's a commodity, right? So let's say, for example, as William knows with his 20 years experience, you utilize a documentary letter of credit to procure a product, say lumber, you're import export. Say you're importing it to the United States, you're bringing it to your development, say in Texas, I assume next door to you, or wherever you have your DR Horton's entity. And so that's a commodity. You'll use it. You'll obviously have a time frame to pay for it. Now, typically when you're doing, obviously buying product, you have a net 30, net 60, depending on what company it is. Well, that's the best example I'm going to utilize because you understand, obviously, lumber, because that's the most important material you have for your raw material and your cost when you're building the house. And obviously you have to pass along that to the consumer. And obviously the consumer goes in, gets FHA financing, gets the paper, pays it off. You guys get your development financing. So where does the DLC come in? Very simple. It's a financial instrument utilized to procure and get commodities. So we're utilizing it in a way to leverage the capital and cash, but there's an actual product. And that's where I'm going to turn over to William, and he's going to explain on his side what he's doing and how we're utilizing it, where we have the cash come in, we're procuring a product, and it's a buy, sell, and a drawdown. So just so you understand, because you're familiar with real estate.
Yes. No, I appreciate that. Putting in layman's term, that was very simplistic for me to understand. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so we're going to use lumber. And so, William, discuss again. So we're using a DLC. We're procuring it. And you're obviously the supplier in this case. And one example, just going to keep, is lumber, because obviously Raj knows that in and out. So let's say, William, you're supplying lumber. Let's say you're out of Canada here, and I'm obviously using it for my home building project. I have a DLC, and I need to import to the United States.
Yep. So that thank you, Robert. So let me share with you by using the lumber. So assuming that I'm the lumber supplier, and then the Robert is purchasing the lumber from me. So he issued the document LC, and once I receive the document LC, I need to providing the commercial invoice, bill of landings, testing report, the whole 9 yards, the paperwork, to satisfy the criteria, what we call the documents are required following with the document LC, the term and condition. So once I providing all of the information, then my bank will act on my behalf to collecting the funds from the document LC issuing bank. That's how we draw the funding. But actually, it's not a paperwork trading. It's we actually ship out the products.
Yeah.
Okay. It's matter how we can collaborate. So the structure that we have with the document LC issuer is my company. We actually we're providing many different products. We are the Baltic company. So the transaction that we are engaged right now is what we call the pure A, TiO2, which is it's commonly using for the sanitization. Back to 2003, when SARS hit Taiwan, the Taiwan government using the TiO2 spray to eliminate for the spreading. So we are the factory based in the United States, and currently I'm supplying for the local community and also some of the customer in United States and also in Far East.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I've been in the financial sector for over 20 years, so I'm I'm used to deal with the document LC management, client's asset. In fact, one of the statutory trusts I'm working, we also deeply involving in the real estate finance, tailored into the apartment building, senior apartment, assisted living, skilled nursing. So I definitely understand that your business model. We are selecting a business partner that we can work with, because to do the document letter of credit, the transaction, it does involving a lot of the paperwork and the product preparations. So when Tamara told me that, hey, William, I do have a people, they want to participate for, you can say the syndication, to raising the funding. This is one of the safe vehicle that you can raise the funds.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I would like to share with you, we are doing is actual the product buy sell. It's not for the paperwork itself.
Yeah.
Code is, this is truly, William is truly authentically for real buying documentary letters of credit like that. This is not a financial scam. Maybe that's a comparison I can say. Is actually, and just so you know, both me and Rob physically have his products. Like
great product, by the way, amazing product.
Like this is truly a legitimate thing, and my attorney who has verified this.
Let me give you a little bit of background. The company that we will using receiving the document LC actually have a diversified the product line. So the one of the product line that we are deeply involved in is in the cannabis sector. So I am actually having my own brandings, and we're providing the hemp products to providing the white label, or even we do the custom branding for our customers. But on the other hand, we also have the Pure A titanium dioxide product, which is original we were using for just make sure the cannabis manufacturing can be what we call germ-free. Okay, germ-free. Yes. So I wasn't prepared for the pandemic, but after the pandemic started, this market was booming. So we did receiving a lot of inquiry, especially when I share all of the public research paper to the customer that our product can self-sanitize once you do the application, and then as long as you don't damage the shield on the surface, that it will self-sanitize for the period of time.
For how long? Just out of curiosity.
Document-wise, we're willing to claim about 3 months, but reality it can be less for a year.
Okay.
If you don't kind of get damage the coating. So with that product, and also our current the purchasing from the different customer. So now my banks are willing to help me to work it out and receiving the document LC and pumping up the production. So I have this opportunity, or you can say the vehicle, that we can work with the document LC issuer and to draw down a certain credit line and do what we call the hedge, which is most of the hedge fund, they're using a large lump sum number to purchasing the bank instrument and do a monetization and to do the project finance. So we are using that same vehicle to build up for the entire.
Raj, I apologize if I can just simplify a little bit. So $200,000, just so you know, it doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into the bank that Rob here dictates to go to. And then what Rob is doing is buying a documentary letter of credit where the beneficiary is William's company. William's drawing down on that documentary letter of credit at 30 to 50% LTV. And all of this takes about 15 days. And then once he draws it down at $200,000, buys a $4 million documentary letter of credit in 15 banking days. Once that's been issued, William is drawing down on that, and it takes him 15 banking days to give the bill of lading, all the stuff he needs to do at 50%. So William gets $2 million. $2
million.
Like that. And on day 35. On day 35, what they will do, not Tamer Zaman, they will do is send you back your principal.
Okay.
So all you're at risk is, for lack of a better word, is $200,000 for 35 banking days. Now, out of the $2 million left, they give you back $200K. What's remaining is $1.8 million.
1.8, yeah.
So now they're leveraging the $1.8 million to buy a standby letter of credit for $40 million. It's with the top 7 banks. They're using the standby letter of credit and monetizing it with another partner at 40% LTV. And the reason it's low is because that partner is leveraging it to give them something called non-recourse loan.
Okay.
So 40% of $40 million comes to $16 million. But do you remember the first documentary of credit I got issued for $4 million? Where we not, so we actually, somebody actually has to go into that credit line and put cash in it.
Yes.
So when you call on it, there's real cash. So out of that 16 million, 4 million goes to make that transaction whole and complete.
And
Rob is his job is to do all that, not your job, not my job to do all this stuff. And then there's all these broker fees that Rob and whoever else charges.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. Just to let you know. But what you left with on day 75 is $11 million.
Yeah.
The reason is every time this documentary Love Credit gets issued, monetized, gets reissued, monetized, whatever, it takes time. And so I shouldn't say 75 banking days. What I should say is projected 75 banking days. And I'll tell you why. First, I want to tell you banking days, then I will tell you projected banking days. Banking days means if there's Christmas or Jewish holiday or Muslim holiday or some other holiday that I cannot think about, it's 75 banking days and not 75 business days or weekdays or something like that. And that's part one. And then what we have no control over is when a monetizing bank needs to talk to the issuing bank. None of us own guns. Well, these Canadians over here don't own guns, so I can't put a gun to the bank and say, hurry up! Doesn't happen.
One question. The entire equation that you just explained, I'm missing $1 million. Is that going towards the broker fees and all that? Okay. Because 40% of 40 million, you said 16 million, 4 million goes towards making the first DLC whole, and then there's $12 million left. But you said at the end of 75 days there'll be 11. So I was accounting for that 1 million missing.
Yeah. So this is where Rob gets $1 million. Well, Rob and William.
I wish, but
whoever the intermediaries are, they get those are the guys who gets paid from the million. Okay.
You're correct. So now you're left with $11 million. And now this is your first opportunity to say, thank you for, Tim, I tried you and your guys out. Thank you. And I'm going home now. And that's your exit out on banking day 75.
Okay.
Now comes, but you didn't come here you didn't come to make 11 million. You want to participate in a private placement program. Great.
Yeah.
So now you have $11 million. You get to choose what you want to do. You can take $11 million and put it with one platform. You can take $11 million, put it in a second platform. I'll tell you what I would do, and you don't have to follow me. I'll take $1 million and go with my family on an all-inclusive vacation for 1 week to Hawaii or somewhere and have yourself a great time, and you have 10 million.
You can work on your 10.
I would take $5 million.
So seriously, you want me to work on my 10?
Well, mine's pale. I haven't.
I'm naturally blessed.
Awesome.
So then, Raj, then what I'm just telling you what I would personally do. I would take $5 million and I would give it to a member of the Rothschild family who I'm going to introduce you to tomorrow. Just so you know, that particular member, Rob has met him a few times. William met him, and he is in Europe. So like 6 o'clock our time is like 3 a.m. his time. So I can't do that to him. Tomorrow you'll meet him and you can verify him, check him out. And then you can take the other 5 million and put it in a different platform. Or I'm just saying what I would do. And I would have a diversification. So if platform A doesn't perform, platform B does perform. And that's what I would do. But
what's the leverage? What's the leverage that you can get or achieve on the 5 mil?
The $5 million will buy a $100 million. Now, in the agreement you signed with me, Raj, there was a paymaster. I want to keep that name confidential, although William and Rob know who that paymaster is. That paymaster is also the Rothschild family's paymaster guy. So it makes the money flow really easy. And then the second platform.
So how do I go about collecting from the paymaster whenever it's the right time?
So the paymaster has to have control over, I don't want to say the money, but control over the money. The platform pays the paymaster. Doesn't pay me, doesn't pay you, doesn't pay the Rothschild.
Yeah.
Platform pays paymaster. Paymaster looks at your agreement with Rothschild, your agreement with me, and then paymaster pays everybody on whatever the agreement is.
All right, fair enough. Simple enough.
So for your own, Raj, like these are questions you're not asking me, so I feel like I should be imposing it on you.
And I'm not going to ask it. I mean, that's why I have you. You're supposed to be educating me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it didn't say that in my logo, but I'm happy to do that. Okay. So I just think for your own security protection, whatever, at the end of this call, I'm going to invite Rob and William to send me their, they have sent me their CIS, but I can't find it somewhere. I apologize. Okay. I'm going to ask them to send me their CIS. I'm going to forward it to you for you to know who Rob is. Does he truly exist? Whatever, do your own background check.
And please share mine with them as well, so you know
and
they can do their check.
And I'll share yours with them both. And then at the end of this conversation, or whenever you got the CIS, you're either comfortable or you're not. If you're comfortable, the only way we would know is the attorney who you've signed a contract with me on calls and says Raj has wired the money that he was supposed to wire. And then day one starts from the bank account that Rob, he's already given us the banking account information. So we know where to send the money to. That's when banking day one starts.
Yeah.
And then banking day 35, you will get your principal back. Banking day 75, you should get your $11 million back. And before you do any of this stuff, I will give you a contract on behalf of Rob, between you and Rob, that dictates what I just told you, so that there's a legal, legitimate contract for you to review, sign, whatever.
And are you guys afraid of meeting people face to face right now? Just out of curiosity, because I do love to travel, so I don't mind flying to LA and Canada.
Rob and I are in Toronto, so it'd be great for you to come to Toronto.
I have family in New Brampton, so you know we're good.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Rob's downtown Toronto at Midtown. I'm being vaccinated. Well, I got my first vaccine. Rob,
I'll get my second shot tomorrow, so I'll be.
Which one are you taking? The Moderna or Pfizer?
Moderna. Moderna. Okay. There's a science behind it. The reason people get sick most of the time are people who have already had COVID and they have antibodies inside their body already. Because when you get vaccinated, there's a small portion of virus already inside the vaccine. So when that virus is injected in your body, your antibodies fighting it, and that's the reason you tend to get sick. But you know, I've been traveling the globe since last year. I've been to Dubai, I've been to Istanbul, I've been to India, Bangladesh, and I've traveled probably half the United States over the pandemic, and I haven't had any issues. The key is drinking warm water. I drink a lot of warm water, so I've been perfectly fine.
Okay, fine. So, Raj, so what I heard is we'll send you the CIS contract between you and Rob that dictates all of this stuff. You'll do your diligence, and we're going to execute next week.
Yeah. And I'll also be wiring the funds next week.
Good.
Is that